There we go, filming. Morrison Springs this time. I'm gonna go over here and look at these raccoon tracks. You wanna take a picture of these raccoon tracks? They're gonna get in the mud though. Right here. Ooh. Oh, almost lost my footing. See those little masked bandits? You see them right here. Alright, since I can't shut this thing off, otherwise it'll die, I'm putting it back in the case. And show off. Got a bunch of scuba divers coming in. Never been out here, and this place looks amazing. I was over there in this little area over here. I could already see a pair of pike, so I'm gonna try and go see those guys after I get acclimated to all this water. Tons of snails though too. All right, time to go in the case. All right, so I'm literally outside recording this for the video, just a little bit. So here I am messing with my sister. She didn't want to get cold, and I gotta say this spring is only like 10 miles down from Ponce de Leon, which you've seen me go to before. But man, it was almost, I don't know if it was, sorry, car passing by, and I just picked up some driftwood. I also found a piece of coral there, but it felt like 5 degrees colder than that other spring at Ponce de Leon. And this is Morrison Springs. It's only, you know, like I said, 10 miles down, but this water was so cold. I don't know if it's just because me working the previous week, or if the water is actually just colder, but man, it was physically painful for me to get in this water. So I guess I'll log out until the next thing. Ooh. Hardly see these goggles. So yeah, this is a razorback musk turtle, which you'll see the little tagline come in a second. These guys are another car. But yeah, these guys are one of the most common turtle species you can find, especially going down in springs and rivers. They're everywhere, but they're still pretty fun to catch. They're pretty fun. You just don't want to get bit by them. A lot of people call them baby loggerheads. They think they're baby snapping turtles, but they're not. They're just little musk turtles. I love catching these guys. Alright, so these guys here, the chain pickerel, I've only ever seen a couple of these at Ponce de Leon, like a pair of them and then a smaller one. Haven't seen them since then, so I guess they removed them or something like that, or they died or whatever. But this place had tons of chain pickerel around. These guys are pretty awesome to catch. I really was trying to catch a smaller one, but unfortunately that did not go well for me. But they're still fun to look at. They're a pretty awesome fish. Alright, and these guys, another car. Anyway, these guys, these swamp darters, they're pretty cool. You'll see them hanging around the seaweed and all this, algae. They like to hang around these areas and they eat like little zooplankton and all that. I've kept these guys in captivity before also. I've actually seen these for sale at pet shops now. They're pretty, fairly common. I don't catch too many of them now, but I did used to keep them and feed them red worms or bloodworms. They're pretty awesome. Also here I found this pair of sunglasses. Now I did try to go around and, here's another car. I did try and go around and see who they might belong to. I had a couple of kayakers, but the English wasn't very fluent. But no, they didn't belong to them, so I don't know what happened to them. I think I brought them to my mom. I think she still has them, but I could not find the owners of them. But it's pretty cool swimming around these areas. It's kind of spooky because you don't know what's going to come out at you. You don't know if you'll end up even finding a snapping turtle or even an alligator that could have swam up into here. But you're pretty much safe. I couldn't imagine an alligator wanting to be in this cold of water, even though they have been before. But yeah, kind of a lot of footage of me just running around through here, this area. So if you want to skip forward a little while, it's kind of all you can do because I just like watching the scenery and all that. And sorry for the camera work, the editing at least. The GoPro footage is okay at best, especially once you get off straight of YouTube, because I don't have a computer to edit on. So it kind of gets a little annoying with editing. It doesn't come out as clear as I'd like it to be. But it still works fine, I guess. You're still seeing my experience here. So actually planning on going fishing on the week after this is recorded. I'm editing this a week after I recorded it, so I'm gonna be going back.
Just caught a little bluegill.
Okay, so right here, I was actually able to catch a bluegill, and later on you'll see I caught a rock bass as well, another car. But it's actually pretty easy to catch fish down here with a net. You just got to go around the roots of these cypress trees and spook them out with one hand and a net in the other, and it's fairly easy. Like, if you had a net and you were living by a spring and you were surviving out here, you could literally just survive by catching fish like this. And there he goes. Now, these Atlantic silversides are pretty cool. They're actually noted as saltwater or brackish fish, but I regularly see them in spring water, and usually that's where they can only be found at, in fresh water. They need very clean water. They need very specific accommodations, very cold water also, from what I can tell. And this provides everything they need, especially the food that they need. So it's a pretty cool little fish, and you can kind of tell it's a saltwater fish by just how it moves and all that. They're still pretty awesome. And slow-mo footage here. But yeah, these guys are also pretty hard to catch too. You gotta get them in big schools to scoop them up. And right here is another razorback musk turtle. This is the second one of the day and the biggest that I caught. And see, yeah, perfectly placed drop right there. And kind of annoying with the GoPro. I gotta keep remembering, for one, because I haven't used it so much, and this is the first time I've been using it underwater. And there he goes, pretty awesome. To actually aim the camera at stuff, and then also to wipe the camera off to make sure there's no drops of water. And this area is pretty neat to look at. I kept getting stuck in the mud, and there's my sister following me. I kept getting stuck in the mud, and I had to keep trotting through. It was like quicksand almost. And this area is kind of just dead, so it was kind of interesting to look at compared to the rest of the springs that were pretty lively. snake trail through there. Really thick mud. And these pug-nosed minnows are they are very common. They get pretty huge also. This guy's about a moderately sized one, but they can get a few inches long. They get huge down here, and they go in really huge schools around the spring, and they're pretty awesome to look at, especially if you can do a huge swallow of them. And then right here I catch the third and final razorback musk turtle, and this was the smallest guy. He's just a little hatchling. And these are fairly the most common size I find them in. These guys are just really fun to catch. Pretty awesome. Then I looked around this dead tree. You can see there's tons and tons of pug-nosed minnows. I go deeper into the tree where the other fish are hiding. You see largemouth bass, I think also smallmouth bass. I catch a rock bass in just a second that you'll see. So they're in there too, as well as let's see, what is the bluegill also. Yeah, it always gets interesting when I find snake shed. You always know they're around there somewhere. This was fairly dry though, so it's also kind of fresh. So it was kind of from that morning, I think. And then here it is where I catch the big guy. And I'll be back in a second to tell you all about him. So yeah, caught some brown water snakes, and these guys are different than Jafar, the banded water snakes you see on my videos. These guys are pretty awesome though, and they have a little different appearance than the banded water snake, more brown, blotched, spotted patterns on them instead of the bands. Their eyes also a little different too. They have like a little teardrop of a pupil rather than the like oval eye of the banded water snake. They're still pretty awesome though. I really wanted to bring one home, but I didn't want to create havoc by bringing them to the shore, and then my mom also was done with me and having snakes for now. Yeah, these guys are pretty wily though, and they do not hesitate to bite, but they are very, very calm for the most part. This guy wasn't, but for the most part, like Jafar, when I first caught him, he calmed down almost instantly. These guys are really awesome snakes. To me, they're my favorite snake of all time. I love finding them and catching them. Water snakes in general, specifically the brown and banded. And this guy's pretty awesome. He did bite me, so it didn't hurt that bad. It's just a few little scrape and he let go. But yeah, these guys can get fairly big too, about 3 to 4 feet long. And this guy's just a little under maybe 2-3 years old, so he's not too big. And here he is for a close camera shot.
See that?
You all right?
He bit me!
Are you okay?
He bit me! There's two! There's two! I can count.
Yeah, so it was a pretty big surprise to me. I caught the one. I kept on kind of following, getting this underwater footage. And I saw him wrapped around the tree, and I thought it was the same one. But no, this guy swims right next to me. So I got the chance to look at the one on the branch and then look at this one underwater and get some pretty awesome underwater footage of him. I love watching these guys move around. Man, I just love looking at them. I love these snakes. So fluent, almost looks like an anaconda with those spots. R.I.P. Swamp Darter. May you be eaten by a larger fish in the circle of life. And here's where I tell my mom I caught 2 snakes.
Actually, I caught 2.
What kind?
Brown water snake. I just kind of want one. Go along with my bandit. Bandit and brown. 2 different species.
Are you gonna keep letting your hair grow?
Yeah, until December. I was gonna let it grow to December. Shut up.
He's got the same spot right there. She already went under, so I told her let's just go. Let's go under. That was cute. Go Tarzan. Go Tarzan. That was kind of a
Yes, this is my sorry attempt at doing the rope swing and trying to do the Tarzan yell, which I can do. And then little kids mock me. And here's the end of the video, me writhing in pain.